How and when to give feedback. Feedback that's given well isn't just like random or spontaneous. You should think about it. So there's different times when it's appropriate to give it and when it's going to have impact. Because what you want is your feedback to have an impact, not just vent something, get something off your chest. And you have to choose between the types of feedback. Are you going to give motivational feedback? If so, when, why? Or are you going to give performance-driven feedback or validation and recognition feedback? It depends, right? So it depends on what you want to achieve. So if it's to improve an already good performer, don't forget that's important, like an elite athlete, it depends on the area you want to improve. There is, for example, task-based feedback, skill-based feedback, attitude-based feedback, and how a person approaches or thinks things. So you need to distinguish in your mind, not just blurt out generic feedback. Think about it before you give the feedback. The goal is to make it, as I said, as impactful as possible. So the more you think about it and how you're going to say it and why you're saying it and what you want to target before you open your mouth or type is key. Really think about if it's going to impact. And if it's not going to impact performance-wise or motivational-wise, and really it's you trying to find a way to complain and disguising it as feedback, save it. Don't do it. Feedback can be random and like things like, hey, good job, well done, spontaneous, and that's fine. But when you want to impact on performance particularly, or motivation, you must choose your words well and your timing well. So timing and context are very important. Depending on what you want to say and to whom, because you can't give the same feedback in the same way to everybody, everybody's different, you need to think, well, okay, who is the person I am giving the feedback to? How do they usually react? How could they react, etc.? And choose a time and a place when they are going to be able to hear you well without reacting. So timing and context, the situation. Pay attention. And you too must give attention. Talking to somebody about something you want to target for performance feedback while you are also distracted or writing a text message or whatever isn't good. You need to be able to give the person your full attention when you're giving performance feedback particularly. Yeah, it's not also good timing to give the performance feedback to somebody when they're stressed or worried about something or having difficulties in their personal life and their attention is on something else. Also, make sure there's nobody else there when you're giving feedback. Yeah, you should give the feedback to the person on their own. When you give feedback that is generic, like, hey, well done or good job, never single out one person in a team. Unless for very specific reasons and that you know that the team also feel that same way about that person. Yeah? If you're going to do that, make sure your well dones are to build teams, not divide teams. Otherwise, if you're constantly singling out good work by one team member, you can make that person feel more, but you can make the rest of the team feel less. Also, avoid referencing someone on the team as like a performance model. Say like, why don't you just do it like Albert does it? Or look at how Albert does it and do it like that. Don't do that. That is very detrimental and is not feedback well delivered. Body language. Body language is very important when you give feedback, as important as the words you're going to use. The words are very important and your body language and your whole demeanor are important. When you're giving feedback, people are going to be watching your facial expression, your body language. They're going to be listening to your tone. So particularly for performance targeted feedback, when you're trying to help somebody get better at a particular thing, make sure that your tone is warm, your body's relaxed, there's no tension, and do not avoid eye contact, right? Because you want it to seem, you want it to be genuine. You want the person to perceive that what you're doing is trying to help them, not criticize them. So remember, there are a lot of ways to give feedback. Sometimes performance feedback may have a target in mind, like a particular skill, as I said, an attitude, or a way of doing something that you want to change that the person does, maybe the way they do a task. So make sure you only talk about one thing with the person. So if you think they should improve a skill, you think they need to improve an attitude, and you think they need to improve their approach to a task, don't give them all of that feedback in the same time. Just give them one performance targeted feedback. One, and wait, right? Don't give them a list of things that they need to improve. Focus on the thing that is causing the biggest negative impact on performance of the person or of the team, and give them that feedback, and the rest can wait, right? So you want to prioritize. So if I have a person on my team that I'm managing, and they have several areas where they need to improve their competency, sitting down with the person for an hour and telling them all the things that they need to improve is demoralizing and demotivating. So what should I do as a manager? I need to reflect first, and I need to think, okay, this person, of all of the things I'm seeing that, okay, they need to do blah, 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 which of them is the most important in terms of big picture? Which is having if I manage to help the person improve one aspect, which aspect is going to have the best impact for them, for the team, and for the project or the program that we are managing? That is how you need to think. And then I'm only going to focus on that. And then I'm going to support them in that and help them get better at that. Then, once that's done, I'll go to the next point. There's nothing worse than hearing a list of your inadequacies from a manager. Believe me.